Good morning. I think my colleague here has mentioned President Charter and watching. I'm not sure as a way for making me more nervous or as a way to make sure I do a good job. Not sure. I want to thank our elder. He's a dear friend of mine. I've known him since, and he doesn't believe me, but there's a long story with our association. I've known him since I was a young person growing up in the North End. I just want to recognize Mr. Lee. He's a really dear friend of mine. I also want to recognize our veterans that are in the back. They're part of the Métis Veterans Commission. They actually were here working, and so they've taken time out of their day to come and spend and be part of us. I welcome you, and I thank you very much for being here with us in honoring our past president. I also want to recognize all our special guests. Thank you for being here with us today. I got a thing yesterday from one of our people that usually come to our events at the gravesite and had thanked us for moving inside because of the weather. We would have rather been there, of course, as most of you, or all of you would have rather been there also. But we figured it would be a better way to recognize our past president this way and not deal with the weather conditions that are out there. So I am honored to bring greetings on behalf of our President Chartrand, who has been mentioned that he's on a much-deserved vacation. He doesn't take vacations quite often, and it's a working vacation. So if you're wondering why he's on here, he's working. He doesn't take vacation as other people do. He takes a working vacation. And so I do want to do a shout out to him because I know that he's working through this whole time. Even though if we try not to bother with him and let him vacate, he still is vacationing. I am grateful that we are here, even if it's a type of a hybrid. Some of us are in the room and some of us are out doing live stream. Technology through this whole COVID has helped us connect where we wouldn't have been able to connect before. Today is about more than simply remembering Louis Riel and the selfish and heroic acts that he undertook for the greater good. This day is about carrying the legacy of Riel and the vision of the brave Métis who served with him on the provisional government and the Battle of Batoche. From the days of Cuthbert Grant and Louis Riel to today, the Red River Métis have fought vigorously to preserve and protect our identity and independence, earning the name Utipemisewac, the people who own themselves. When the land then known as the Northwest was transferred to Canada, they had grand ideas of how they could remove the Métis from our land and give it to those in the East and new immigrants coming from across the world. The current inhabitants of this land, our ancestors, had a different vision. They had a vision of a province where everyone was welcome and all had the right to speak their language and practice their religion, including ourselves and First Nations. At that time, there were 12,000 people living here, and 10,000 of them were the Red River Métis. When surveyors from the East came to split the land, they were turned away by our people. When Governor McDougall came to try and quash this resistance, he too was turned away. When Louis Riel and John Bruce informed McDougall that he could not enter the Northwest, our homeland, without permission in October of 1869, they made the declaration as the national government of the Red River Métis. And when Riel and the provisional government negotiated Manitoba's entry into Confederation in 1870, they did so much more than that. They negotiated Canada's entry into the Northwest. They set the standard for values and ideals and a vision for Canada that we are still striving to match today. Today, the MMF continues on with this legacy as the national government of the Red River Métis across Canada and beyond. We are the successor of the 1869 National Committee of the Red River Métis, led by President Bruce, and the 1869-70 Provisional Government, led by Riel. On July 6th this year, 2021, Canada and the MMF entered into the Manitoba Métis Self-Government Recognition and Implementation Agreement. Some of you were at this signing. This agreement officially recognizes the MMF as the existing government of the Red River Métis. The MMF is the sole national voice acting on behalf of our citizens across our homeland, beyond borders. We are mandated to protect the Section 35 rights of the Red River Métis. As you may know, the MMF recently withdrew from the MNC after it failed to uphold the agreed-upon national definition and abandoned the true Métis. They have become nothing more than a new pan-Indigenous organization, akin to the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples. Riel predicted that this may happen when he said, "We must seek to preserve the existence of our people. We must not, by our own act, allow ourselves to be swamped. If the day comes when that is done, it must be by no act of ours." We did this in order to help bring our citizens together and to protect the legacies of our ancestors. A legacy that was earned through tough battles in courts and on the battlefield at events such as the 1816 victory of Frog Plain, the 1849 Sayre trial, the 1851 Battle of Grand Coutu, and the 1885 Battle of Turun's Coulee and Batoche. These struggles and victories are unique to the Red River Métis. It is important to remember that we are a distinct Aboriginal people and an Indigenous nation. The Red River Métis settlement, the Red River settlement, now Winnipeg, is the birthplace of the Métis Nation and the heart of our homeland. It is here that a distinct culture was born. This is the birthplace of the Red River Jig, the Red River Cart, our distinct prairie flower beadwork, our national flag, our poems, songs, and music of our artists, and of course, our language, Michif. This distinct culture, coupled with the struggles and battles of our ancestors, is something that is uniquely ours. These things did not happen anywhere else but the Red River. We need to take pride in this. We must do as Louis Riel asked us and become more Métis. This is the only way we can defend our nation against those who want to assume our identity and speak on our behalf. We must become more Métis, stronger, more resilient, and more united than ever before. It is no less than he would have expected of us. So, for all the Red River Métis citizens who are watching today, I ask you to stand with your people as your ancestors did. Stand with us for what we believe in and what made us a nation. The values and the vision of Louis Riel, the diversity, inclusion, and opportunity. For all Manitobans, I ask you to stand with your Red River Métis neighbors. Understand the price we paid for building this province, and recognize that you can't speak of Manitoba without speaking of the Red River Métis. Today, we encourage everyone listening and watching to use this day to remember what our ancestors fought so hard to protect and what they would expect of us today. Thank you. Marcy, miigwech.